Hello friends, welcome to NSG. This is Muhammad Shahid, and first of all, I and my team wish you very happy and prosperous Diwali. And I hope you are doing well and enjoying your Diwali, and it is a Diwali occasion. So before start, let me tell you one thing that in this lesson we will discuss half of the adverbs, and first half we have already discussed in the previous lesson, and in this lesson we will start from the comparison of adverbs. So please let me tell you one thing more, that whenever we are trying to compare with two adverbs each others, so we should remember that whenever we are using comparisons, we are using adverbs in the form of comparison, we shouldn't use some keywords instead of other words. Why? Because we have some rules and we will check that the same. What rule number 1 stated that if the adverb is of one syllable, suppose if the syllable is one, so the comparative is formed adding er, not and the superlative by adding to the positive. How? Let's have a look. Suppose there is an example: the hare ran more fast than the dog. That is wrong. Why? We shouldn't use more fast. We have to use ran faster. We have to use we have to add er. What? Er in the verb. Okay, faster than the hare ran faster than the dog. So this would be the correct statement. Okay, so check rule number 2. Adverbs ending in ly words form the comparative by adding more and the superlative by adding the most. Why? Because whenever the words end, the adverbs end with ly, we always use the comparative by adding more word and the superlative by the most word. Clear? How? Let's have a look. The petrol price hike issues has been debated hotlier than the urea scam. So that is, you can say, so hotlier it should be the wrong. Why? Because the petrol price hike issue has been debated more hotly, not hotlier, more hotly than the urea scam. Okay, so you have to also always use like this one, and for in the superlative degree you have to use the most word before the adverbs. Okay, so please check the next one. So the next thing is what? Position of adverbs. So we have certain rules for the position of adverbs. Let's have a look. So at position of adverbs, we will check the first rule. What state that adverbs of manner, place, or time are generally placed after the verb or after the object if there is one. Otherwise, after the verb. Clear? It plays after the verb. Please do remember. Suppose there is an example: he wrote last year a book. He wrote last year a book. So this would be wrong sentence. Why? Because we shouldn't use the place. We always have to put the value of the adverbs of manner, place, or time generally placed after the verb, not before the verb. So what we should place, what would be the right sentence for the same? He wrote a book. First of all, he wrote a book. What he wrote? A book. When? Last year. When? Last year. So after the verb. Clear? He wrote a book last year. Okay, so let's check the second rule. When there are two or more adverbs after a verb and its subjects, the normal order is adverb of manner, then adverb of place, then adverb of time. So first of all, you should have to place adverb of manner, then you have to go for the adverb of place, then last you have to put the value of after adverb of time. Suppose there is an example: I read the proof yesterday meticulously at home. So please do remember, I read the proof, it is okay, but the time should be placed in last. Okay, so your yesterday should be placed over here, and meticulously, that is adverbs of manner, should be over there here. Okay, meticulously. Okay, please do remember. So you need to make the statement for the same exactly like this: I read the proof meticulously at home yesterday. Where? At home yesterday. So adverb of manner meticulously should be placed before the adverb of place, and the adverb of time should be placed after the adverb of place. Okay, clear? So please do remember, I read, मैंने पढ़ा, proof, I read the proof, meticulously, adverb of manner, at home, adverb of place, yesterday, at what time, that is called adverbs of time. Okay, I hope you are getting my points very clearly, very clearly. If you have a little bit doubt, please do mention in the comment box. Okay, next, what next is there? Adverbs of frequency and most of the adverbs of quantity are, they are in 2 to 3 manners. What? Normally put between the subject and the verb. We always adverb of frequency and most of the adverbs that quantify, they should always put, normally they have to put, we have to put the words between the subjects and the verb. Between the subjects and the verb, please do remember, and consist only one word. Okay, not more than one words. And the second thing is what? It can also be put after the first word if there is more than one word in the verb. If one word in the verb, then we have to put its first after the first word. Clear? And another rules is what? Put after the verb if the verb is am, are, is, was, were, be, have, etc. Why? Because these are considered as a helping verb. Okay, so please do remember, we can put after this verb. Okay, so let's have a look next one. Some more rules we have, so we also need to check the same. Two negatives should not be used in the same sentence unless we wish to make an affirmation. Suppose two times we cannot use the negative words. Suppose there is an example, she did not despise none of her lovers. She did not despise none of her lovers. So we shouldn't use none. Why we are using none? Because it's getting two times. So we always use the word sentence for the same sentence. She did not despise any of her lovers. Why? Because any has a negative sense. Any of her lovers. None of her lovers, we shouldn't use none. Why? Because we have already mentioned the did not. That is also a negative word. And none is also a negative word. But any is not a negative word. It has a negative sense. She did not despise any of her lovers. Okay. So check the next rule. What is stated? Ever should not be used for never. Okay. Ever should not be used for never. Suppose there is an example. She seldom, or ever has sweet talks with her son. She seldom or never इसका होना चाहिए था, जो वहाँ पर एवर लिखा है. ओके, तो एवर शुड नॉट बी यूज फॉर नेवर. नेवर के लिए हम कभी भी एवर का इस्तेमाल नहीं करेंगे. कैसे? शी सेल्डम और नेवर हैज स्वीट टॉक्स विद हर सन. So this would be the right sentence for this incorrect sentence. Clear? So what is the next rule stated? Else should be followed by but. But else. So you always remember that we shouldn't write down like this, but else. Else but. We always use the word else but, not but else. How? It is nothing else than fatigue. No, it is nothing else but than fatigue. We should be placed like this statement. It is nothing else but fatigue. Okay, but fatigue. So this would be the wrong sentence. It is nothing else than fatigue. So let's have a look. The last rule for this one. Never should not be used for not. We shouldn't use the word never for the word not. Clear? How? We can check through an statement. Statement stated as she met her friends after a long time and her friends never recognized her. So all are okay, but the word never shouldn't be used over here. Why? Because the exactly and right and appropriate statement will be for the same statement like this. She met her friend after a long time and her friend did not recognize her. Didn't recognize her. Not never. Never recognize her. No. She met now, right now. So why we are going for the past? We always use the recent past. Okay, so we always use like this statement. Let's have a look for the next one. Now we can check an exercise also. हाँ, तो हम देखते हैं कि एक्सरसाइज कर लेते हैं। हम एक्सरसाइज में हमारा हम ये देखेंगे कि जो डायरेक्शंस दिया है, ये फाइंड आउट द एरर इन ईच ऑफ द फॉलोइंग सेंटेंस इफ एनी. इफ देयर इज नो एरर यू हैव टू गिव द आंसर डी, दैट इज नो एरर. सो सी बिहेव्ड in a cowardly manner. पहला स्टेटमेंट कहता है she behaved in a cowardly manner before the headmaster and hesitated to do the work. It is absolutely right. So you shouldn't have to put any wrong option. So you have to go for answer is D. Okay. So for first one answer is D. Second thing is what? The girl refused not to return the articles. Not to return the article, that means there should not be not. Refused is also a negative sense. The girl refused to return the article, so there is a error in option B. Not will be omitted. Okay, so omit the not word. Let's move on the next one. The real important things. Real important thing of our life is our livelihood, which discriminate us from animals. Second and third is very right, you can say. And this statement, this phrase is wrong. Why? Because the real important thing is wrong. The really important thing. So real should be replaced with the really. So replace real with the really. Okay, so option A will be the right one for the question 3. Okay, so don't use real for such type of statement. Let's move on the next one. She is too much beautiful. So there is error. She is very beautiful, so most of boys run after her and want to influence her. So there would be very much instead of too much. Clear? So let's move on the next one. The taxi driver who had come to receive us at the airport was speaking fluently French. So there is a wrong in the fluently French. So it should be after French fluently. The airport was speaking French. That means the taxi driver who had come to receive us at the airport was speaking French fluently. So first would be the subject, then this would be. Okay, so this would be the before after fluently. Okay, so C is the wrong one. Let's move on the next one. The observers feel that the stronger team has to face defeat because the players don't play wholehearted. So wholehearted, that is wrong. Wholehearted instead of wholehearted, you should use wholeheartedly because the players don't play wholeheartedly. Why? Because it's going on. So you should use the heartedly. You have to use the word ly also. You can check what was the word wholehearted with replace wholeheartedly. Clear? So let's move on the next one. So that was 6 now. Let's move 7. Although he is usually rude with everyone, he behaved nice with all of us today. So there is error. You can check it directly in the option C. Why? Because let me explain you. Nice should be replaced by nicely. So this is the wrong adverb that are used. Clear? So let's move on the 8th one. He ran so fastly. Why so fastly? He ran so fast that he reached first and realized that he had not earned anything substantial. So he ran so fast. So for question number 8, A will be wrong. So what is the correct statement? He ran so fast rather than fastly. Okay, so let's move on the next one. 9. In spite of toiling very hardly, he realized that he had not earned anything substantial. That is also wrong. What? Very hardly. Why we have to use very hardly? We have to use very hard. You can check over here. So very hardly replaced with the word very hard. Clear? So let's move on the last one. we were very much carefully in our approach. That is wrong, na? You can check over here. Carefully. We were very much carefully. No, we were very much careful. in our approach, and hence we would complete the complicated task. So that's why there is a wrong word that is mentioned carefully. So we should replace the carefully with careful. Okay, I hope you have got all these points very frequently, and you have learned all these things whichever has taught in these lessons. Suppose if you have any idea regarding the same, you can mention in the comment box. If you like our video, don't forget to share, like and comment. And if you have not subscribed our channel, that is NSG, so you can subscribe, and for getting all lectures of NSG, you can click on the bell icon which come after clicking. Okay.